Hey everybody, all right, in this video, let's talk about the new report that came out yesterday from the Science and Technology Advisor for the Department of Homeland Security in regards to sunlight and heat and its effect on the COVID-19 virus. So this gentleman came out yesterday and he was saying that sunlight and heat and high humidity basically really damper and damage the COVID-19 virus. So what he says is basically if you're outside and it's 95 degrees and someone has COVID-19 and they sneeze on a handrail, well, if it's 95 degrees outside and the sun is beating on that handrail, there's a good chance that that virus is going to die pretty quick. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to be cured of COVID-19. Like if you have COVID-19 and you go outside in the heat, that doesn't mean that you're cured of it. Okay. That's not what he is saying. He's just saying that the virus doesn't live very long in direct sunlight or in high temperatures. Now, what does that mean for Disney parks? Well, I think it means a lot, actually. I think it means a lot. There's a lot of ramifications for this. If this study is true, and that's if, I think there's a lot more they need to look into to really confirm this. But if this study is true, I think that it's possible Disney will have to kind of tailor its protocols based on what's indoors and what's outdoors, right? So for example, like, here in Southern California, at Disneyland in the middle of August when it's 110 degrees outside and the sun is beating down on everything, Disney might implement a different strategy in terms of like social distancing and wearing masks and that type of thing for the outdoor areas. So if you're sitting at the hub on Main Street in 110 degree weather with the sun beating down, Disney might alter the protocol for that experience compared to their protocol for when you're waiting in line indoors in an attraction. Let's say for Indiana Jones, where it's a tight, cramped space that's inside, right? So the protocol measures that Disney implements, if this is true with the heat and everything, might change based on whether it's indoors or whether it's outdoors. And I think that's very, very interesting. Very interesting. It actually, I kind of hope this is true, because at least at that point, we can all kind of rest assured that when we're outside on Main Street walking around, with our popcorn or our Coke, we can kind of breathe a little easier that, okay, it's really hot outside. My risk has gone down a little bit. Now, it's not gone completely. Obviously, there's always going to be some risk, but at least, I'm a little better off than I would be if I was indoors, and you can kind of tailor your own experience based on that. So I'm very, very curious on how Disney will take that information and implement it into protocol for the parks, or if they're not going to do anything about it. It's very possible Disney just kind of has a blanket policy for social distancing and mask wearing, and they don't really care whether it's really hot or whether it's not really hot. It's very, very possible. But I do think this information is important. I do think so. And I think that if it pans out, and I'm saying this is a big if, but if it pans out that this is true in regards to the heat and how the virus doesn't survive very long on surfaces with a lot of sunlight and heat, that has a lot of, that potentially can have a lot of ramifications for Disney parks, because these are theme parks. These are outdoor experiences for the most part. Yeah, you go inside. I mean, definitely. There's no doubt about that. But a lot of this experience is done outdoors. So it'll be very interesting. And here's the thing. A lot of people are kind of poo-pooing this whole study, saying, oh, heat, oh, sunlight, that doesn't cure coronavirus. No one's saying that it cures coronavirus. No one's saying that if you have coronavirus and you walk out in the sunlight, you're going to be cured. At least that I'm aware of. I don't hear anyone saying that. What this scientist, what this science and technology director is saying is that it just doesn't live very long on surfaces that the sunlight is hitting. That's all it's saying. And we know, look, even forget that. We know for a fact that a lot of viruses and infections don't do well in heat. There's a reason why when you get sick, right, your immune system, your body raises your temperature. There's a reason why you get a fever. The fever is there to raise your body temperature to fight the infection, to fight the virus. Because the heat is not beneficial to these things. They don't do well in hot temperatures. Same reason why the CDC and all these different groups recommend you to wash your hands in hot or warm water. Okay, it's not an accident that they mention hot or warm water. It's because these germs don't do well in higher temperatures. Okay, same with the flu season. It's not arbitrary that the flu season is during the colder months. That's not like some random thing. It happens during the colder months because germs and viruses and whatever, they last longer in the cooler temperatures than they do the hotter temperatures. Now that doesn't mean that you can't get a cold in the summer or you can't get the flu in the summer. You absolutely can. It's just a lot more rare. It's far and few between compared to like the colder months, all right? So it wouldn't surprise me if this whole information about the sunlight and the heat and the humidity is true about COVID-19. I do think it plays a huge part for Disney parks and the perception as to safety. How Disney basically implements its protocol based on that, I don't know, but it's gonna be very, very interesting. I can't wait to see what happens with this. But a very interesting study. Did you guys watch that? Did you see that? I thought it was pretty cool, pretty interesting. But what are your thoughts below? Comment, please. I want to hear from you guys in regards to this subject matter. What are your feelings going forward in regards to Disney parks and the coronavirus? I would love to hear from you. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.